Please, so we can get started.
Yeah, I do know. You're right.
One housekeeping item before we get started. Mabel Simpson called, and she has a previous engagement, so she will not be here. Let me introduce myself. I'm Don Simmons, and I'll be asking the questions of candidates tonight. First of all, we have candidate Tatum on our right, candidate Townsend, candidate Wilder on our left. And here are the ground rules. We're going to allow each candidate for 5 minutes to introduce themselves and tell us what they're looking for and why they're being a candidate. After that, we'll go to questions, and questions they'll have 3 minutes to answer. And there's a timekeeper just in front of me with a yellow sheet for 4 minutes or 2 minutes, depending on which questions or introduction. It's not a debate. In other words, each candidate will be asking a question, and he can answer that question. He or she can answer that question without a debate. And I've already drawn lots so the candidates can introduce themselves. The first one would be candidate Simpson. She won't be here. So the next one in order was candidate Townsend, candidate Wilder, and candidate Tatum in that order. 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen.
Is this one on? Yeah, that's on. Oh yes, I'm Bob Townsend. I'm not going to take the full 5 minutes. And I just want to tell you right now, I'm going to have to leave at 7:45 because I have a previous speaking engagement that they were kind enough to allow me. It was supposed to be at 7. They were kind enough to let me speak later to them. So I got to be over there at 8 o'clock. So I will have to leave at about 7:45 or so. I've been on the council now since 2001. I'm very proud of the things that have been accomplished on this council during my terms of office. We've done an awful lot of economic development. We've got an awful lot in the infrastructure of Richmond, our streets, our sidewalks. We still have a whole lot to do. But that's going to take time. It's going to take money. You know, 2 things that I'm really proud of that I was instrumental in leading the council through was years ago, some of you will remember we had what we called a ministerial alliance here in the city. Well, that sort of died away. But I helped facilitate a new group called the Interfaith Alliance here, and we just facilitated just to get it started. And now then it's going. This one's working, okay. Well, Tom, the minister of this church, is instrumental in that alliance, and it's doing a great job. They're all on their own now. We just facilitated the start. Another thing that I'm recently proud of is the purchase of the woods at Renner Road in Plano. You know, the city had about almost half of that already because it was in the floodplain. But we recently purchased the rest of that 53 acres to make the woodlands. It'll be woodlands permanently. It is dedicated as a park. Nothing can ever be built there. Before we made this purchase, it was for about 2,100 apartments. And they had that by right, but from deals a long time ago. They were made a long time ago. So we did away with those 2,100, but in exchange, we did have to give them 1,800 apartments down near the Eisman Center, down near Gallatin Park. But we do have those woodlands forever, which I'm very proud of. I've been in Richmond now since the late 50s. My wife Lynn is right here. Raise your hand. She's right here. And we raised our kids. They went through RISD. We were active in PTA back then. I've been active with the school district for many, many years in a variety of ways, from substitute teaching after I retired to helping the Berkner football team with their football statistics during one period of time. But we've always been very active in the school district. And I retired from TI and after almost 38 years, and then I learned a lot at TI. And that experience in the technical and management fields really helped me prepare for serving on the city council. You know, back in 2001, with the economic downturn and the tech downturn, we faced some critical financial issues. But things that I learned at TI during that period were instrumental in helping us get through that crisis with a minimal impact to the services to the citizens of Richmond. There's a lot going on in Richmond. You know, Richmond has just recently been named Boomtown by the Dallas Morning News. There's a lot going on economically. I want to be sure that that continues. I think it's very important that we have continuity of leadership. You know, our rating agencies, which have rated the city of Richmond, AAA, Moody's and Standard & Poor's, have both rated the city of Richmond AAA for the past several years. We're one of only 6 cities in Texas that has this AAA rating from both of those rating agencies. So I'm very proud of that, but one of the things they recognize is continuity of management. And so that is very important. It's going to be very important during the next, is that time? 1 minute? Okay. During the next time period, you know, we have some crisis going on in the city right now. And I think it's critical that we have experienced leadership to help solve some of those crises that have presented themselves recently. But I would appreciate your vote. The early voting is April the 27th through May the 5th. The actual election day is May the 9th. So please get out and vote, and I would appreciate your support. Thank you.
Senator Wilder.
Thank you all. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and spending this time listening to us. I want to thank the pastor for his generosity in hosting this forum at his wonderful church. And I'm here to not tell you what I have done in the past. I want you to know that I'm going to try and improve our future. The city has done many wonderful things in the past. It takes a community effort to do that. I alone cannot do it. My opponent cannot do it all alone. It takes cooperative effort of everyone that's sitting out there right now, including myself, to make this city go forward and make it the best place we can make it. You probably heard statistics that we have one of the safest cities in North Texas. And yes, we have a fantastic police force. And you will hear the chief give a large part of that credit to people just like you, because we have one of the best active crime watch patrol systems in the entire state. There is no other city that has a crime watch patrol like ours in every location. We have the record. Our city has been the leader in National Night Out for many, many years. And once we reached the 100,000 population level, that threw us into a new category. Even so, we did exceedingly well last year in National Night Out, and we're going to keep climbing that record. I have been involved with the Citizens Police Academy. I am currently the vice president on the board. I've been involved with the Citizens Fire Academy. I have been president, vice president. I'm currently on the board. My community involvement is over many, many years, Boy Scouts, things like that, which has helped me and led me up to this point. I see this as a way to extend my community involvement and bring whatever skills I have to the table and bring the questions and the concerns of all my neighbors to the council so they know what's going on. I know, having been on many boards, that sometimes we get isolated and we don't know what's actually going on in the community. So you tend to lose sight of what can be important to the people that put you there. And I hope not to ever lose that. And I hope you all make sure that never happens to either myself or whoever is sitting on that council. They are responsible for having a city that you want. They should listen to you. So this is what I expect from the community. The only way we're going to get that is if we continue to have lots of community involvement. Do not rest on our laurels. We need to continue to address everything we need to, such as the infrastructure of the city. I know many things that needs attention, and you have all seen some of the things that need attention. You probably drive on them every day. But nevertheless, that's going to take more money, like Bob says. I know there's going to be a bond election that's going to be proposed. What the nature of that bond election still has to be presented. But this is where you have the opportunity to tell the city what it is you want to see. What do you want the city to do, and where do you want it to go? I'm really not asking for your vote. I want you to consider all the issues and all the candidates. Most important, I want you to vote. I want you to talk to your neighbors and get them out and vote, because it all starts at the local level. Everything starts at the local level. And if you don't exercise your vote, then anything that happens, you have no complaints about. I've seen a button that said, if you don't vote, you can't complain. And that's exactly the way I feel. I know sometimes you feel frustrated because you don't think your vote counts. Well, believe me, it counts at the local level. So pay attention to what's going on in our city. Pay attention to the issues and make your voice heard. And I want to thank you again for hosting this forum and for listening to us. And please, save your tomatoes to the end. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. As you may know, my name is Claudia Teum, and I'm running for Richardson City Council, Place 4. I'm a U.S. veteran. I served in the military, U.S. Army, Korea, and Iraq. I'm working on my doctorate degree in management. I have a master's in national security, a BA in international relations. I am a former business owner, real estate investor, home builder. So I work at UT Dallas, I forgot. I do work at UT Dallas. I live and work in place 4. So why am I running for city council? I love my city. Running for city council is just an extension of my love for my country, which I have demonstrated by serving my country. I have demonstrated my love for my community by serving in the Citizens Police Academy, Citizens Fire Academy. I'm currently going through Leadership Richardson right now. So serving and running for city council is just an extension of my service for my community and my dedication and passion for helping and serving others. If you want to know more about me, you can go to my website, claudiatatum.com. You can email me, campaign@claudiatatum.com. But because you're here today, I'm going to give you my personal email. Why? Because I want to hear from you. And before I forget, in giving you my email, I'll give it to you right now. Claudia.Tatum@yahoo.com. Claudia.Tatum@yahoo.com. I have a campaign phone number. But right now, I'm going to give you my cell phone number because I want to hear from you. Because I care for what you have to say. My cell phone number is 214-934-2669. 214-934-2669. I can see some of you already memorized my cell phone number. Don't give it away to anybody else. It's just been videotaped, so nobody else knows. That's all I got to say. I'm welcoming your questions. I have scheduled coffee with some of you. I have met and answered many questions that you care the most. Things that you care for your city, for your family, your loved ones. I want to hear from you because running for city council is not about me. Trust me, I already have enough in my plate. Running for my doctorate degree. Right now I'm working on my dissertation. I should graduate at the end of this year. But I care. I care for our city. And if you want to make a difference, you need to get involved. And I see that you already care because you're here. You're here right now. Thank you.
Now, since Mr. Townsend has to leave, most of the questions are his, and then I have some words from both candidate Wilder and candidate Tatum. So we'll put him on the spot first. Bob, I'll read them to you.
I'm really surprised at that with the hostess.
What happened to the franchise fee for the roads?
Pardon me? I'm sorry, I don't know what they're talking about, the franchise fees. I'll be happy to talk to you after about that. Who asked the question? I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. Are they talking about tolls or?
Well, I might be able to answer that. Laura Masca put out a letter that the franchise fee, which is swept from the water fund, she said it could be used for roads, and that's above and beyond the 2 cents that you take out of the ad valorem taxes. So how is that money actually spent?
Okay, well, I'm not sure what Laura Masca meant, you know, when she said that, and I'll have to ask her to answer that question, but I don't know.
Could you ask her and get back to this group?
I surely will.
That's
I'll
a
take
good
this
thing.
question with me.
Thank you.
Okay, next.
I understand that the Spring Creek Preserves land was an agreement between a developer and the city, with the city paying $11 million and granting an economic development with the city. Why was this done, as the land is in a floodplain zone and unable to develop anyway?
Okay. Is that you? I think that's you. Yes, like I said earlier, part of the land is in floodplain that was already owned by the city. There were the additional, about half of it was already zoned, as I said previously, for apartments. That was zoned long before I was on the council, and you cannot back zone. It was zoned for 2,100 apartments. So they could have built that on the 2,100 apartments on the rest of the land that is not in the floodplain. So what we did, we got the land that was not in the floodplain, we combined it with the land that was in the floodplain to give us the 53 acres, as well as reducing the number of apartments in that general area from 2,100 to 1,800. And in keeping those woodlands, those natural woodlands, for the city of Richmond forever. Most people in this community are very pleased to have those woodlands there forever. Okay? Okay, what caused the $8 per month penalty in the latest budget for those with separate water meters or sprinkler systems? It determined that those people that have a separate sprinkler system, a separate meter for their sprinkler system, this was following along with our idea that the people that use the service are the ones that should pay for the service. So we added this fee to the monthly bill for those people that have an individual sprinkler system meter. And they're the ones that pay for it, rather than prorating the additional costs that are involved through all of the users of the system. If you just have one meter, you wouldn't have to charge that, but that additional fee. Can we ever expect to see a resolution to the out of control traffic we have on South Grove Road? I just wonder who wrote it. Don and I have had a discussion on this situation for as long as I've been on the council. So it's been a long time, and we have taken some steps. There's always going to be traffic on the road. It's an arterial street. We tried to minimize the traffic or slow it down a little bit by the addition of bike lanes on Grove Road. Grove Road has been, bike lanes have been traffic controller and been most successful in several parts of the city. I think it has helped traffic on the road. There's still a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of traffic on Grove Road. There's a lot of traffic going north and south on all the streets. On Greenville Avenue, Plano Road, even Abrams with dead ends there at Beltline, but there's still a lot of traffic on there. And we're going to continue to have the police to monitor that and try to control traffic. And it is in pretty good shape, I think. Don and I disagree on this, but it's in pretty good shape. And so we will just continue to monitor it to see what we can do. But traffic, as this area grows, and it's growing like new resident every 5 seconds, so traffic is going to continue to be a major problem. We're going to have to try to stay on top of it. This Don's last one here. When the council approved the expansion of the cold storage facility on North Grove Road, wasn't there a stipulation that some kind of buffer would be put between the cold storage unit and the homes just south of it to eliminate the diesel fumes that are entering the home? There was nothing that I recall, Don. There may have, I don't remember, other than the fence, I don't know no other stipulation that was put in there to monitor it. I can double check to be sure, but offhand, I don't remember, and that was quite some time ago. This is the storage unit, the cold storage unit there, right along that old railroad there on Grove Road. And they are progressing on it right now. And this is on the north side of the former, of the old part of the building. So I don't remember a stipulation other than the fence that it's already there. And any other kind of stipulation we had, I'll check on that also, but I just don't know.
Don, I have a question to ask.
Yes.
This is just a comment about the meters for the sprinkler system. I believe those people paid for those meters when they were put in, so now they're double paying it.
I don't think they were, Regina.
Yeah, they did. My neighbor did. And the reason why you meter separate is that the water is being used.
Was that to the city, or was that, was that installation? I'll have to check. All I know is reasonably charged $8.
You're doing that because you're not making that water go through sewage. It's used for irrigation, so you don't want to pay the sewage fee on it. Other thing, and this is a question, I'm not that old, but I never thought in my life that my water bill would be higher than my natural gas heating bill in the wintertime. My highest natural gas bill for an 1,800 square foot house and a family of 3 is lower than my water bill. If you all can sweep $1.2 million out of that account this year, why can't you cut our fees and give some back to us? I can conserve, but you charge us by 1,000 of gallon increments. I cannot cut 1,000 gallon usage off of my bill. I'm sorry, we've gone to low flush toilets, newer dishwasher, newer washing machine, and our water bill is ridiculous.
I agree, the water bills are very high, and I too did not think I would ever see it, but I didn't anticipate the water shark.
I paid $500 for my sprinkler. The city wishes.
Okay, I want to double check on all that. But, like I said, the water is a critical situation here. The reason the water bills have gone up so much is because of the shortage of water and the number of people that are moving to the area. This increase, you saw what we've gone through some of these past summers. It's still a very critical area. What they're having to do is build new reservoirs to take care of this. And in order to build new reservoirs, they're going to have the funds to do this. And the lenders that loan the money to build the reservoirs, they insist on a certain amount of guaranteed income before they will put up the money. So, like I say, They're high, I agree they're high. Mine is high. I go through the same thing. I have the same problems that you do as far as, they're more than my electric bill, so. You want to take questions, Steve?
Sure. Bob, go ahead. Why do they, I've heard reports that they open the water mains and dump water down the sewers because they're not using enough water in Richardson. Is that true?
They're periodically, once in a great while, you cannot store water for a long period of time in those tanks, in those storage tanks, or it becomes really bad. It becomes bad. Is what it does. It's not safe. So periodically, if those tanks aren't being drained periodically, they do have to let the water out through the fire plugs, the hydrants. That's very rare.
Why don't they slack off on the restrictions a little bit?
That is difficult it's difficult to manage to do that. If you say, this little area, because usually it's just one tank at a time, one of the many tanks in Richardson. It's just one tank. If you say, you can water next Tuesday for, a period of time. It's just this one area. So that's the problem. It's the management of it.
The North Texas Water District is doing, it's not the city of Richardson.
Right, everything we have is passed through from the cost of the North Texas Municipal Water District that the city is a member of. Yes, ma'am.
I hope you will understand that I'm asking this question with all due respect.
Okay, thank you.
6 years ago, you told me you would not be running for city council after that campaign. Yet you have continued to run.
Did I specifically say I will not run for city council again?
To my face.
Well, I don't remember that,
But my question is, you've been on council for so many years. We have an average age of 36 in this city. And I'm wondering what more you bring to the table than a younger resident who wants to get involved. Why is it so important for you to stay on council when there are so many people that would run and be good at it?
Okay, you say I've been on a long time. Well, I've been on 14 years. I've been going to my doctor for 25 years. So should I get rid of him? It's just because I've been going to him for a long time. But as far as remembering what I told you, I don't remember saying that. I said I will not run again. Of course, you say that, but okay, who's this?
This is a question that was handed to me. Drainage fund has 1.1 million swept out for G&A. Why is that not going to help drainage upgrades?
The drainage fund that you, it's my question, my apologies, okay? I'll speak for myself. The drainage fund was started in 2011. The council approved a $3.75 fee on the water bill every month.
Yes, ma'am.
That equates to 2.7 million that's collected for drainage problems or to fix infrastructure drainage issues.
Right.
You've been sweeping out $910,000 for G&A instead of that money going to those projects every year. But this year, that sweep is now 1.1 million out of the total 2.7.
Okay, I think you've discussed it several times with the city manager and so on. And I think he's tried to explain to you that this
No, I
week,
haven't actually spoken to him on this topic, but that's okay.
you spoke to some others about it, I think.
Who would I have spoken to?
I think you have, haven't you?
Not on the
I've heard it
drainage.
several times. So. I mean, same question. It is not, well, she calls it a sweep. It's moving money from one to another. But this fund, there are items in the general fund that support this drainage fee. There's management. There's a lot of different people that support this particular drainage fee. So this transfer over is the cost of, for those people that supply services to the drainage fee. So it's a transfer, but they prefer to call it sweep or whatever. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I'd like to hear a little bit about the planned development for downtown, Main Street, Chinatown, that sort of thing. I'm not really sure how that happens. Like, I know you come up with a plan, but then there are businesses that are currently in those places. Can you talk just a little bit about
Okay, I sure can. Of course, now the plan has been developed and it's been approved. It's a planned development. And what, like we always say, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be particularly difficult because each one of those little buildings is owned by someone else. They're each individually owned. And it's going to be difficult for the developer to mass this land because you know how it happens. If you buy 2 or 3 places, then the price of the other one is going to go. Not they're going to be wants it. But the plan has been developed. And it's available on the website if you'd like to see how it really looks. But, that's all I can say.
So would the city give any help in doing that type of development?
We have not done anything yet. We will consider it as the plans go forward. I mean, we will probably have to get the development that we want, that you want. Yes, ma'am.
Can you clarify where you're talking about? Are you talking about between Greenville and 75 on Main Street?
It goes from Abrams
Okay.
all the way to Central, west to Central.
Got it.
It goes from basically RISD, the ag buildings down there, north to Chinatown.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And I would suggest that you really look at the website and look at the plans for that, because they're really interesting plans, and if we can get it developed, it would be great. But it's going to, like I say, it's going to take a while. Because, you know, really, we never had really a downtown, you know, like some cities. No square, and so we really never did have what we call it that. We just have those 2 blocks of buildings. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've looked at the plans and I find them quite like difficult to understand. Okay, it's not an easy read, but the picture that they show of the recumbent bicycle and the tree-lined streets. I mean, I work right there in downtown, and with all that traffic, where is it all going to go? You know what I mean? They show these pedestrian streets, and I think that's great. And right now, they're crossing the street.
We're trying to get them over on Polk Street, and you know, it's a good plan, but the traffic is a problem going through.
Yeah, where's it going to go?
It's going to go on through there. If you look at the plans there, it takes advantage. I mean, it allows for the traffic to make it through there.
All right, but the picture is just a little misleading, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, anybody in the city would be happy to talk to you about the details. The details on it. I mean, we had input. We had many town hall meetings, type meetings, where the citizens had input to what they wanted to see there, and this is reflected in those plans. It is a part of that. I appreciate it. I'm very sorry I had to go, I had this prior commitment that I've got to go through, but there'll be some of my signs out there if you'd like to have them. There's some literature back there on the table. So I do appreciate your listening, and I would really appreciate your support in this election. Thank you very much.
With both candidates' approval, we'd kind of like to make the rest of this an informal thing. Get just questions back and forth between the audience, Mr. Wilder and Ms. Tatum. So, who would? Okay, she wants to be called Claudia. Good.
Said that people would use the microphone so we
Who has a question now?
Yes, Mr. Wilder, if you were elected to council, will you consider term limits for council members?
There are already term limits on the council, and the council term limits are 12 consecutive years or 6 terms, followed by a break of 1 full term of 2 years. They can then run and hold office for another 12 years. So the term limits have already been put in place.
What do you think about term limits?
I
Are you for them or against them?
I'm for them because it allows people to apply for the same position and bring fresh ideas and a different outlook and not get stuck in the same slot year after year with no room for improvement. And I've worked with many organizations where if it doesn't change, it gets stagnant, you lose your membership, you actually lose your effectiveness. And so it needs a regular turnover of people with fresh ideas and different ideas.
Thank you.
If I may answer the same question. Yes. I do believe in term limits. Unfortunately, something has happened in the system right now that we have with the city council members, that they've been able to stay longer than 12 years. So I think there's something that we need to do in order to fix that. Right now, we have a review of the city charter. So I think there's a little bit more that can be done in order to ensure the really term limits.
I'd like to ask a question. What a surprise. Channel 4, Channel 8 lead-off story on the news last week, as you all know, was about our illustrious mayor of Richardson. I want to know if either one of you are familiar with the city ethics policies, especially considering regarding council people. And if you all are familiar with it, is there any changes you think that should be made to it?
I don't know why. I knew that that question was going to come up. I don't need a high
Because it was a lead-off story on Channel 4 and Channel 8 News.
Yes. I can tell you this. If I get elected, when I get elected, I will push for an investigation to see what truly happened. Where was the bridge? How can we fix it going forward? And the parties who were involved to be forced to resign if possible. But if elected, when elected city council, I will push for an investigation. Because I know there's more to the story. I don't know how many more people are involved, but I think that people, the city, we need to know.
The city does have a very good ethics program in place. I got selected to chair the Environmental Advisory Commission in 2008 when it was formed. I had to get trained and certify that I would operate under federal guidelines to be morally and legally accountable for my actions. All of the council members have that same thing. However, over the years, I had seen that point stretched to the point where it should have been broken. But once again, it's my fault and your fault because we can see this and we don't raise any objections. We don't make any complaints. We don't try and pin our feet to the ground and say, you're not doing this right. You need to follow the rules and the regulations. And it's our responsibility to make sure that our elected officials are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Remember, all the elected officials work close together, so they know what's going on. Don't ever kid yourself. They know what's going on. And if you, and we've seen this in the past, find something that you don't agree with, you need to find out what's at the bottom of this. Raise the hard questions. Don't be afraid. Ask your elected officials the hard questions about what are they doing to resolve these kind of issues. And get your facts straight. There are a lot of good people out there that will dig in the dirt and find out and make sure what's actually going on. So you have to look for it. But we have a very good ethics policy. It just has to be followed. Thank you. Sorry.
I don't need that. I talk loud enough anybody can hear me. I want you to know that the man that left here has asked the current mayor to resign. He felt certain that she did not need to be leading the city. And because she held, or still holding a position, has had negative impact on what the council can and have been able to do. Now, you've got a very good council now. You're going to be able to get a replacement in number 4 because the gentleman that has the job decided that he couldn't handle it anymore. So they're going to have a new position, place 4. But I want you to know, the man that left here has stood up for this group, for this city, for this association, ever since the word, and asking that current mayor to resign so that the city can get going forward.
Why didn't he tell us that?
Nobody asked him the question. He's not going to raise that kind of an issue out here in the public because there's a certain amount of respect that he gives to the mayor and her office. It is her job to get up and say, I'm resigning. They anticipated last night that there would be a hurrah at the city council meeting. Nobody showed up to raise the question about why the current mayor has not resigned. Nobody showed up. So if you want to find out what's going on, Channel 16 on Monday night.
Don sends it out.
What?
Don sends out the summation of it all. He summarizes it.
That's fine.
The city
You
council
can
meeting.
watch it on the TV, or if you've got a question about what's going on, you go down there and you talk, or you listen to what they're saying.
Okay. Is there more questions, please?
What board were you on that you had to get off of?
The Environmental Advisory Commission. And if you have a minute, I'd like to talk to you about the water situation. The city has really been moving forward on the water situation. The part about letting water out of fire hydrants, there is a good reason for that, and that is so that the water does not stratificate in the tanks and algae will not grow. If you have noticed the fact that we've had some really pool tasting water, it's because we've had to do a burn of the system so that when it heats up, when the water heats up in the summer months, you don't have a real big problem. The city is renovating the storage tanks a few at a time to put in solar-powered mixers, which help eliminate the stratification in those tanks. And it saves money because we currently have a system that pumps the water up from the bottom to the top and circulates it. Well, that takes a lot of energy. With the new solar-powered mixers, it's powered by the sun, so it's not going to cost us as much. That should save us some money. We also have systems where we can recycle the water instead of dumping it in the streets. And that's coming into place. It takes time to buy the equipment and to train people and put it in. But the city is doing that. And there's a lot of things that they're working on that the commission, which I'm no longer chair of, is still working on to improve things for us. They're doing a really good job, and I applaud them. Any other questions?
Where do you live?
I live in Duck Creek, which is starting at Plano Road in Beltline, goes all the way up to Jupiter and Arapahoe.
I live in Place 4, which is by UT Dallas. I live at the Pradera Apartments, which is down the street from UT Dallas.
Next question.
Go ahead.
What is your background? Real fascinating.
I have been in power electronics for over 40 plus years. I am semi-retired. My last 5.5 years I worked in the solar power industry with a firm designing and developing inverters to convert solar energy into electricity for our grid. I currently work part-time for sort of a startup company that was in Garland and is now relocated in Richardson. It's an internet technology company. Never been in that before, so I'm learning a lot of things, but I'm only working part-time. And I also work part-time at UT Dallas for a couple of professors that are taking their patents, and UT Dallas generates a lot of intellectual property. And they have put in a venture development center on the west side of the campus to move some of this intellectual property into the commercial environment. And they give these people that are starting up these little firms an office, some lab space, some internet service, a copy machine, a telephone, help incubate startup companies with their patents. And so they have a lot of high-tech thinking, but no way of making it a reality. So I go work there and actually build a product so they can go demonstrate it. And so for my background, it's been really in the power industry, and that's an industry that's very small, and most people don't realize that's where everything starts. Your computers have to have power, all of your laptops, your toasters, your ovens, everything starts down at the very bottom. And that technology has increased tremendously. And so I've been basically a research and development technician for most of my career.
My background, I think I already said a little bit about my background. You guys want to hear more about me? Trust me, my life is not as excited. It's not as exciting as yours. I can tell you that right now.
Some of us haven't been to war.
Sorry?
Some of us haven't been to war like you.
So some of you have not been involved in the city way before I was even born. So I can tell you this right now. Whatever you're doing right now for the city, whatever research you're doing, keep doing it. If you're involved, stay involved. It's very important. So yes, back in 2002, I joined the military. It was a little bit after the 911. I remember driving to college in Los Angeles. And if I talk too much, please stop me. Because I know you don't want to hear my story. I want to hear about you. I want to hear about the city and your issues. But you already have my email. You have my phone number. So I know that I'm going to be hearing from you, from a lot of you. So I was driving to Los Angeles City College, and I was listening to the radio. It was an old vehicle. It was like a 19 or 1800 vehicle. God, it was old. But it took me from work to college. And I heard the news about the towers. I got to college, and all my professors and students, they were on the hallways with the TVs outside, just listening and watching. And we watch the news as the towers collapse. They dismissed us, they dismissed classes, they sent us home. So I went home, put my TV on the floor, and I kept watching. I don't know why, but I did. And I felt hopeless. As I saw the towers collapse, I felt hopeless. I felt hopeless. There was nothing I could do. It was just me and the carpet, full of tears. Then, that's when I said, I need to do something. What can I do? I was 21, 22. I'm telling my age now. Some of you already know. I'm 34. But I felt that I had to do something. But what am I going to do? How am I going to make a difference? So I did some research. I love doing research. But I can tell you now, if I don't know the answer to something right here, right now, I will go and find it. And some of you are doing the same thing. And I would encourage you to keep doing it. So I did some research, and I saw the U.S. Army and the Navy and go to war and fight for your country. It wasn't exactly what I was planning to do, but that's what it took. That's what it took for me to feel like I was doing something for my country. And instead of feeling hopeless, doing nothing, just crying for what happened and complaining, I joined the military. And that's my story, that's my background. I came back from Korea. That was my first duty station in Korea. Then, from Korea, they sent me back to Fort Hood. They told me to stay. I could stay at Fort Hood for like 6 months. But my unit was deploying to Iraq. And I said, no, I want to go. They're not going to go without me. And I immediately went through training and deployed. Came back from overseas, saved some money. I got in business. Well, I bought a duplex. That was my first property investment. I bought a duplex. I remember how old I was then. I was living in one side. I was renting the other one. I said, that works. So I bought another house. I bought 2 houses in Dallas, 2 houses in Rome. I bought another house in Houston in a condominium. I was young, energetic, I got my business. I'm going to start my own property company. Why am I going to pay somebody else to rent my houses? I can do it. If I went to Iraq and I fought for my country, I can run my own business. I can rent my houses. So I started my own property management company. So I went through the old struggles of starting a new business. I went to marketing, finding tenants. I got my tenants, I was making money. collecting taxes. Trying to beautify your house so you can rent it. Some of the tenants left. They mess up my houses. My houses, not the apartments, people. My houses. So, went back to fix them. They sold my refrigerator. 2008. What happened in 2008? Anybody?
Real estate crash.
Real estate crash. So guess what happened? I was one of those. So I had to file for Chapter 7. I lost it all. Everything that I had worked for, I lost it. Talking about transparency, I talk about transparency, and I know somebody else in the city will bring it up. I talk about transparency. At the same time, 2007, 2008, when I was going down with everybody else in the market, I was trying to swim, but I couldn't. There were some challenges with my marriage. I came back from one of my properties in Killeen, and my husband was gone. I talked to him on the phone, not to leave. So when I come back, my beautiful house, 2-story, corner house, by the way, a lot of lawn to do. My mom and I used to do the lawnmower. She used to help me. I thought I was not going to make it. Losing my husband the same day, the same year, and the market crash. I'm here now. So I went overseas to save my marriage. I went overseas with him. That's when I became a government contractor for a U.S. Air Force base in Qatar. Yeah, the money was good. Working for the government, overseas, going to Dubai, all these fancy places. But it wasn't for me. I've been overseas before. Government contracting wasn't for me. Not in Qatar. I was in Qatar. So I came back. And of course, I came back by myself. At that point, I knew I had to do something. Go back to school. Finish my AA at that time. So I wanted to work and go to school at the same place. So I was applying at universities. UT Dallas, UT Southwestern, Women University. Anybody here from Women University? UNT, many universities. So thank God I got employed. I got a phone call from UT Dallas. I got employed and I was starting to go to school, work at UT Dallas. At that time, wake up. You're still awake? I wanted to join the FBI. So my career path changed. I applied for the FBI. They never called me. They never say yes or nothing. I said, what's wrong with the FBI? Why don't they want me? Well, I talked to a recruiter. He said, you need to have some of these criteria. A BA in International Relations, Masters in National Security, something related, So guess what I did? Yes. I got a BA in International Relations, Master's in National Security. And I applied for the FBI. Again, within like a few weeks, I got an email from the FBI. Congratulations. Among so many people that applied for the FBI, you have been selected. At that point, I wasn't surprised anymore. I knew what to do, that you gave me the checklist, I did it. And so, no, don't worry about it. I'm not an FBI agent. Do I really look like one? Don't be scared, some of you. So then I decided, you know what, the FBI, I failed that test for the FBI. That's when I knew, you know what, when I was in the military, I got injured. I went airborne school to jump out of planes. Trust me, the first time I jumped out of a tower, I did not jump. They pushed me. They pushed me out of a tower. And I think we gotta go now. So, that's another story, but I got injured in the military, trying to jump out of planes. And so that was the end of my FBI career. I was injured. And I didn't want to carry a weapon with me 24/7. I do have a CHL now, and I have a weapon with me, not for me. It's, yeah, this is church. I'll take it down here. So that's it. That's all about this.
These folks volunteered to stay here at 9 o'clock. If you have more questions, specific questions, be glad to. Go ahead.
Can I just ask one more question?
There's a lady in the microphone.
I don't need a microphone. Very quick question, very simple answer. How many city council meetings did you attend?
What's the question?
The question is, how many city council meetings did they attend?
I can vouch for her. I sat next to you for lots of.
I've seen you somewhere. To be honest, I have lost count. In the Dallas Morning newspaper, they asked, I said 32 to 42, 32 to 48, something like that. To the point that the city council, they used to think that I was from the Dallas Morning News or something. They confused me. It's just one of the Dallas Morning News.
Hundreds. Over the years that I've lived in the city since 1991, I have always been interested in what's going on in my city. For my HOA, I had been the civic chairperson, so it was my responsibility to sit through all of the city council meetings and bring it back to our HOA. Even after I left the civic position as president and vice president, I still went to them because you really need to know what's going on. So I've been to hundreds and hundreds of city council meetings. And if you've never been to one, I really encourage you to go to one. Last night was amazing. How many here know what was going on last night? I know Mrs. Townsend does. We had the city council debating what they were going to do with group and community homes. And I don't know how many of you have them in your neighborhood. I do. I've had 2 homes in my neighborhood, 4 blocks from my house, for many, many years. But they're all different kinds of group homes and community homes. And you'll never know what it is. Most of them are fantastic neighbors. They are really good. You have battered women's shelters. You have mentally challenged shelters. You have drug rehabilitation. You have halfway houses for people getting out of jail. You have a multitude of different applications for it. And the City Council currently is having to consider that because they have an application for another community or group home And they want to ensure that the safety of our city, the safety of our residents, and the safety of the people at those homes are taken into consideration. So a lot of stuff happens at City Council that you probably don't know. There's a lot of work. One of the questions that was asked was, how many hours are you willing to devote to your job if you are elected City Council? And you'll get the simple question that, oh, you only have to worry about 20 hours a week. No. Anybody been in the Boy Scouts? 1 hour a week, all right? Yeah, you know that. My answer on that question to the Dallas Morning News was as many hours as it takes to fully understand the issues that are presented to these City Council people. The staff does a fantastic job in researching it, but if you want to do a good job, you have to pay attention and do the research also. And I am lucky in that, yes, I work part-time for a company here in Richardson, but the owner of it works with me fantastically. Probably because he's paying me practically nothing for what I do for him. But that's okay, because I enjoy the work that I do for him. And he is super flexible. I can take any time I need. I can come and go. I set my own hours. And you have to be able to be willing to put that time in if you want to be able to do the job right. It's not an easy position. I have to applaud Steve Mitchell with his large family, his full-time job, and still doing a very good job on the council.
I'd like to know how both of you would have voted on the Palisades development. 675 people came out against it. And essentially, they were told by the mayor, too bad, so sad. Started out as, I think, 600 apartments, condos, whatever.
It's now over 1,000.
Well, I think 1,253, I heard. So how would you have
1,483.
How would you have voted with your constituents?
With all of the time that I've watched the developments proposed to the council, the story is the same. You get beautiful architectural drawings, beautiful proposals, and it never comes to pass. The Palisades is no different. If I was on council at that time, I would not have been in favor of it, because they kept coming back and changing their plans, which automatically told me that these people are not interested in what you people want. They're interested in the bottom line, the dollar. And we understand that. That's part of economic development in the city. However, is economic development always what we need in any particular location? What do apartments bring to us? They put a burden on our services such as fire, police, water, sewer, trash, transportation, everything. And what do residents of apartments bring back to the city? You'll hear pundits say, well, you know, they spend their money in the city. Maybe. If there is nothing to attract those residents in our city, they're going to go to Plano. They're going to go to Addison. They're going to go to Garland. They're going to go to Dallas. That's the real key for economic development, and that's to keep their interest in their money right here. Because if we don't have something to attract them like Eastside, which is a fantastic development, which has apartments and retail, green space, they're going to go somewhere else. So they're not really contributing to our community and our economic base. I would not have been in favor of the Palisades development. It was not a good development.
Well, the way I see it, I'm a liaison between the people and the city. So you have the message. The people have spoken. And my job is to take the message to the City Hall. So I'm not going to base my decision on me living at the apartments right now at the Pradera, which they're beautiful. I'm not going to base my decision on many houses, well not many, the houses that I have owned and the real estate background that I have and working with developers and working with the city. I will base my decision on the people, which is you. And at that time, I think the people spoke, 635 presents and many letters. I would have voted no.
I have a question for both. We have 7 seats on the council, and in this next election, 5 of those seats are running unopposed. What remedy do you see to that?
When I was collecting signatures to get on the ballot, I met people that cares for the city, loves the city, and they have volunteering and helping for so many years. And I asked that question, why they're not running for city council? Why not? What is the requirements to run for city council? Anybody knows? You don't have to be married. You don't have to have kids. You don't have to have a doctorate degree. You don't have to be in the military. You don't have to be an attorney. Oops, that hurt. The requirements is you. Your passion, your love for the city. So I told that couple, I told the guy, you love the city. You have been involved for so many years. You want to run now? He's in my district, District 4, of course. I will help you. Yes, you've been running against me. I will help you run against me. Why? Because this is what the people need options. We need more people on the ballot. So win or lose, when I win this election, I'll tell you right now, if you want to run for city council next year, next 2 years, I will help you for free. I'm not going to be your campaign manager, but I will help you for free. You don't even need one, but I will help you. Why? Because the people need options. Because you love your city. You wouldn't be here right now. Do you know how many times I've been at the Citizen Police Academy, Citizen Fire Academy, Rotary, Altrusa, so many meetings. Mayors, Star Council with the mayor in Dallas, learning about the city, what's happening in Dallas. So what are they doing? What are the programs? Because I care. You care. And I know because you're here right now. Run. Don't be scared. Run.
Community involvement. That's what it takes. And as Claudia says, fear keeps a lot of people off. Fear that they do not have the financial backing or the support to do it. Well, I'm here to tell you that when you get good people that are backing you, you don't need a lot of financial support. You just need to show them that you're willing to work hard and listen to them. And one of the questions the Dallas Morning News asked was, do I believe that there's enough minority representation on our commissions, our boards, and our city council? Well, number one, we don't restrict anybody from running for the city council. It is difficult, for a minority to run because they feel fearful that they would not be considered, but they shouldn't feel that way. And the way for them to do that is to get more involved in the community. And our commissions and boards, anybody can apply for it. It's not easy to get on, but we look at everybody that applies and pick people who have the requirements to do a good job on it, regardless of what race, religion, creed, color, or anything that's involved. Nobody ever asked me what my background was, what my religious preference was, or anything like that. Just what can I bring to that board or commission? And to get more people involved, we need to go out to the community and ask these people, would you like to participate? There are other ways of doing it to start them and to get over the fear. We have great organizations like the Police Academy and the Fire Academy, the ministry, the network ministry, lots of volunteer organizations and opportunities. Come out and participate in your community and learn about people, learn your leadership skills, and this is America. There's no limit, folks. So yes, that's my answer to it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't the council appoint people to the commissions and boards?
Yes, they do.
Isn't it kind of a revolving musical chair?
It can be a musical chair, but they only have a list of candidates that apply for it. And if we don't have people applying, they get to pick from those candidates. Those application forms do not ask you what race you are. They do not ask you what religion you believe in. They don't even ask you what political party you belong to. So unless somebody on the council knows the individuals that are applying, they're just blank faces. And so it could be anybody. And they pick people based on what the people have on their applications.
I'm just going to ask, if there's any more forms that everybody's going to be at.
The League of Women Voters is having a candidate forum April 14th at the Civic Center at 7 o'clock in the Grand Ball, or the Grand Hall. They do an excellent job. They are probably the most professional organization in doing an unbiased forum I have ever participated in.
Second. Second most.
Now, I won't talk to that. The thing is, you have to know what's going on in your community and not rely on a campaign manager or anybody else to tell you what's going on. And you have to participate.
All the people together, I mean, that are running, I'm just saying, there was been elected where there wasn't a forum where everybody was there.
Well, I have been fortunate in not having two things scheduled on the same night. And I'm always open, and I'll go wherever I need to go to talk to people. But as everyone knows, you have a busy schedule, and not all of the organizations coordinate with other organizations when they schedule their forums. So I'm here to tell you that there are more forums coming up that you can go to, and the league is a great one. And if you can't go to that, then I encourage you, if you have a question, go right to the candidate. Come ask us. Forget about what other people are going to say. Ask us if you want your answers.
Well, I see that we're losing one by one. You know, the faithful to stay behind. There's coffee, Starbucks at the end, so don't leave. And the good thing about this race, or me, myself, my campaign, is that I go where they tell me to go. When I have a consultant, And when it was difficult to decide to run for city council because of running my doctorate degree, finishing at the end of this year. But if it's not now, then when? Some people have told me, why do you wait until you're more mature, like 65, 70, 75? And I said, well, regardless of my age, 60, 65, or 80, either I'm going to lose or I'm going to win. So if I'm going to lose or I'm going to win, I'm going to lose, I'm going to win now. The time is now. So if you have any questions, you want to hear from me, don't wait a whole month. Don't wait until the next meet and greet. Don't wait until the next election to hear from me or from your city council members. Don't do that. Don't wait until the next election to bring those questions about the water. Do it now. Call me. Text me. Give you my cell phone number. I've been texting with some of you. I have to ignore some of you. Okay, I'm kidding. I have it. But text me, call me, email me. Thank God for technology. Go to my website. Most things you want to know about me, go to my LinkedIn profile. Trust me, you'll be tired of going through my LinkedIn profile. It's like 24 pages. Long, huge. You don't want to hear about me. Send me your questions. Send me your issues. Email me a burden question. You want me to look into something? I'm a doctor, a scholar. That's what I do, not for a living, but almost that's what I do for a living. That's what I'm going to be doing for a living. I'm a doctor, scholar. I do research. I find things. If I want to find you, not that private, don't be scared. If I want to find what's happening in the city with the water, with taxes, I will find it for you. If the city's not giving it to you, which they should be giving you whatever you're asking for, that's why in my platform is more transparency. Yes, we do have some, but we can always do more. We can always do better. Don't you agree? Can't believe you're still here. The faithful ones.
Thank you. I think it's time to wrap this up. They've been very generous with their time and effort, and we appreciate both of you spending the extra time here.
Go ahead, sir. One more question, please.
One more?
Yeah, or I mean, can I ask a question?
Okay, Rob, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just curious, as far as, since you brought up taxes, and so with the two of you, do you have any areas in common where you might agree on how you could cut property taxes? Where the both of you would say, yes, we agree, and you're going to try and work with the other council members to get them to cut taxes.
The question is, how would they cut taxes?
Yeah, if they can agree, I think they have. Everybody has to agree, usually, or a majority. Can you two agree? Do you have any common areas where you would think we could maybe cut some taxes?
Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. I will bring it up to the council members. Right now, our taxes, businesses are paying more taxes than the homeowners. So before it used to be different. I think it was like 60% for the residents and like 40% for businesses. Now it has switched. So right now they're saying, yes, no, we're fine. Don't mess with taxes. It's low. But there's always room for improvement. So yes.
Well, I agree with Claudia that there's always room for improvement in our taxes. Everything I've seen of the 13 cities that we normally rank ourselves again, we're in the middle. So that's pretty good. The way you reduce taxes, and from what I understand, we're not going to raise taxes for the next bond election. The way we reduce it is to slim the city down, make it more efficient, find ways to save money, and cut the burden on the residents. We can probably increase the exemption for senior citizens to help their burden. We can probably become more efficient as a city to reduce our expenses, which means we don't have to collect as much for taxes, but actually lowering them from where we're at right now, that's a very difficult situation, but it's one that needs to be addressed. And so I agree with Claudia, there's room for improvement, and that's what we need to do.
Thank you both for coming. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. We were supposed to get to meet for coffee. Didn't get worked up.
Oh, yeah. Let me turn the camera off. I didn't mean to kick it. I need to just turn it off.